Well, I started doing audio at a very relatively young age in the 70s and, got hooked on doing recording and just thought that was really interesting stuff. And, in the 70s, we were kind of limited by either you bought really expensive hardware or you bought, Tascam 80-8s and you hoped and prayed that you could make it work long enough to get the session under your belt. I thought I wanted to open a recording studio, so in 75 I did, and we ran it for precisely 1 year, and then we were out of business. I played around in the pro audio business and worked for various and assorted manufacturers and did this, that, and the other thing, and did television for a decade working for ABC Sports, Monday Night Football, golf, Indy 500s, those kind of things. But I always maintained my passion for doing recording. I moved to Denver in '92, and that's how I got to know about Grace Designs, because they were up in Boulder, and I saw these ads for these really cool mic pre's and stuff, and I thought, man, these guys, this is stuff I want to check out. In 2004, we got connected with the symphony doing Diane Reeves with the Colorado Symphony in surround and broadcast it. And the symphony folks listened to what we'd created doing it in surround. Using lots and lots of Mike Grace remote-controlled mic preamplifiers, and they said, hey, you guys are really getting some great audio out of this place, and we'd like to keep in touch and do some more projects. And a couple of years later, we did 10 Days of Beethoven, so we loaded in on like the 26th of May, and finished, I think, loaded and waved goodbye to the truck on the 16th of June. And man, we did 40, 50 hours worth of recordings. I really enjoy recording the symphony. You put 70 or 80 musicians out there who are pros, rehearsed, they know what they're doing. If it's a live broadcast, we'll put 2,800 people in the house, dim the lights, you're on the air. And when we do live stuff, it's like doing television. You can't run out in the middle of this thing and say, oh, I got a problem with the preamp. Okay, I need you guys to stop playing and I got to go fix my preamp problem. When we buy Grace stuff, we know that it's bulletproof and runs all the time. And you can stake your reputation on it. We're doing it right now. We're in our modified dressing room here at Betcher Concert Hall. It's a wildly asymmetrical dressing room, and we're recording the Colorado Symphony Orchestra for a CD release for next year. And I was sitting down and I was doing a little math, and we have about 80 musicians out there. And at union scale, the cost of that per minute is somewhere between Sproing and the national debt of Greece. And, when that kind of money is sitting there, you can't risk having a problem with your gear. I can't run out in the middle of the recording session and say, look, we got to wait 5 or 10 or 15 minutes with 85 musicians on stage and the conductor because I've got a problem with my mic pre's. And you know what? They always work, they sound great, and they have the most amazing combination of resolution, transparency, and detail without getting hard, edgy, or nasty of any mic preamp that we've listened to. And frankly, I can buy any mic preamp on the planet. But we buy Graces because they work and they sound terrific. We got a pile of Grace stuff, and occasionally something will go wrong or it'll have a bad day. And that's when you find out if the company you're dealing with is really worth what you're paying them for. Because when something goes wrong and you're in a situation where I've got 80 musicians out on stage and the money meter is running at 78 RPM, okay, and I've got an issue, there are people jumping through hoops even before the phone starts ringing. And the support we get out of Grace is just world class. It's simply the finest operation in terms of supporting product in the field that's out there. And we buy a lot of gear from a lot of folks. You buy Grace stuff and you take it out of the box and it looks amazing, okay? Fit, finish, construction. You know that there are a bunch of folks back there in Boulder that are putting this together that really, really care about what they're doing. And then you plug it in and then you take a listen to it. And you're standing around there and you're going, wow, this stuff's amazing. And it doesn't matter if it's a mic pre or a channel strip or a headphone amp man, if it's got a Grace label on it, you know, and you got a set of ears, you'll turn it on, fire it up, and listen to it and go, wow, it's really great stuff.